Muslim legal experts have traditionally made contributions to the economy. Their contributions are important in order to provide a guidance for the following generation in carrying on their legacy. Muslim economists like Abu Yusuf al-Shaybani, Abu Ubaid al-Mawardi, al-Ghazali, Ibn Taymiyyah, and Ibn Khaldun has developed their thought respectively and implemented the Islamic economy that promoting well-being for people. All the aforementioned jurists based off the structure of the Quran and Sunnah. The Sustainable Development SDG were presented by United Nations member states in 2015 as the roadmap or navigator that will be used by the member countries by the year 2030. However, the SDG does not disregard the economy as the primary goal. The SDG specifically highlights 3 points that are connected to the economy: the absence of poverty, good employment, and economic progress, and also peace, justice, and robust institutions. These 3 SDG components demonstrate that the UN did not disregard the significance of the economy.
Now, the question is, how does the Muslim scholars' contribution on the jurisprudence concept have similarities with Adam Smith? As we all know, Adam Smith is a well-known political economist and moral philosopher. He basically is known as a father of modern economics due to the several of economic theories and ideas that he has developed, like the division of labor, the gross domestic product, and the invisible hand idea are examples of his significant achievement. However, before he received the title as the father of economics, there are certain economic theories that have been discussed for 100 years before by Muslim scholars, like one of the famous Muslim scholars like Ibn Khaldun or al-Ghazali, which they have discussed the similarities theories like Adam Smith. Ibn Khaldun is one of the Muslim economists that has been acknowledged by the Western economists. He is also one of the founders of economic theories like the division of labor, the price system, role state of the economy like free market system, demand and supplies, and others. Both Adam Smith and Ibn Khaldun state that the government intervention in the economy should be limited. According to Ibn Khaldun, the market system should be allowed to the forces of supply and demand with no interference from the government. He also believed that in order to guarantee that the right of both buyers and sellers are respected, the government has a duty to uphold justice and fairness in the market. Adam Smith has stated that the government should not impose any policy that could affect free trade, both domestic and international. He stated that free market capitalism is an economic system that encourages the unrestricted movement of goods and capital between individuals and nations without the involvement of the government. In a free market, consumers will set prices for goods and services more successfully than a government will. That's why the invisible hand theory, which has been described by him, is a natural force that directs self-interest to meet the demands of individuals and society on its own and without the help of the government. That's why he believed that the main force behind economic advancement was the free market. Al-Ghazali is also an economist that is anchored of the 5 fundamentals of pillars, which are religion, life, family, property, and intellect, which basically are required by the Sharia for both individual and community well-being, where he focuses on the economics of maslahah, which is the social utility and distinguishes between necessity, comfort, and luxuries. Both Adam Smith and al-Ghazali believe that honesty and fairness are one of the essential to smoothen the function of the economy. Al-Ghazali imagined that the market are operating based on a set of moral principles and ethical norms within which the business community will conduct its trade activities. Basically, this principle and standard are already in the roots of the teaching of Islam. That's why he places a strong emphasis on banning misleading and fake advertising, scams, gambling, and hoarding. That's why Al-Ghazali believed that in order for market to function well, they must be free from flaws and evils. Adam Smith argued that promotion of society's best interests would result from rational self-interest, which is guided by moral judgment, which is based on fairness and justice, and the invisible hand on the marketplace. Basically, ethical decision making is not taken into an account in the calculation of recent economic decision making. The truth is that moral behavior cannot be regulated by law. It comes from within and a desire to do what is good for the society rather than acting only in one's own self-interest.
Capitalism and Islamic economic are the basic topics that have been always presented by our scholars. Adam Smith, a Scottish economist, have given his view on how market is functioning. Therefore, he introduced the terms of free market, which has been popular during his time until nowadays. Free market is rely fully on demand and supply function. There are no intervention from government as it is known as a natural economy. In free market, the price and the quantity will be decided by market itself. Thus, government will have no regulation and no power to interfere in economic cycle, even though they are the upper level in every country. For him, let market decide what the economy want to be. In addition, free market or capitalism system give opportunity for all men to open business by themselves. No restriction and no regulation, and also no ruling that prevent them to do that. In capitalist system, business is the essential part where economic will run in line with business condition. If business is going down, the economic, which have positive correlation, will be plummeted also. That's why opening business in capitalist system is too much important. Market monopolies, negative externalities, and work exploitation have all been used as arguments against free markets when they occur, and also known as a market failure. Market monopolies who conquer a particular product, they may have a right to impose any charge to the consumer. For example, utilities company can set the bill tariff at the higher price as they are only empowered to produce that product. Without government intervention, consumer will suffer from expensive charge that has been imposed by the utilities company. Negative externalities is the outcome on what the industry did to the surrounding and environment. To make it simple, industry was labeled as a free rider. Factories are freely to emit the toxinated gas to the air without any feeling of guilty. Government should impose tax or fine as they make the surroundings suffer and exposed to the poisonous environment. Third, work exploitation, one of the market failure which involving the manpower in the industry, the injustice welfare, lack of wages, education discrimination are the problem that has been issued by this subtopic. Capitalists ask all the labor to keep productive even though they have reached the limitation as a humankind. This is one of the example of human exploitation that occurred in a capitalist system. However, Islamic economics comes to tackle all the market failure. The important thing is the role of government. Government in Islamic economic was labeled as hizbah or regulator in order to review the economic cycle. Market monopolies, negative externalities, and work employment will be abolished through the role of government. That's why regulation from hizbah and government is very essential. In conclusion, capitalism and Islamic economics are the two systems that govern all economic activities, including where it originates and who it is intended to benefit. As we have seen, both capitalism and Islamic economics offer advantages and disadvantages that are beneficial to the community at large. This video, however, contains that a strong economy does not depend solely on one system. Rather, it is preferable to combine capitalism with Islamic economics to create a strong economy. We cannot completely eliminate it since we employ a modern economic structure that is more dependent on the capitalist system. Profit-seeking entrepreneurs are acceptable in Islam since it shows that Muslims are truly diligent in their work in kasbil mal. Islamic economics dictates that all rights and sections must be subjected to a regulation from above in order to prevent future market failures. As said often, implementing a mixed system is the greatest way to think about improving the economy because it will help the neighborhood. Next, the question is, what are the differences in views between Adam Smith and Ibn Khaldun about labor theory of value? The Economists used the labor theory of value as an initial attempt to explain why products were exchanged for particular relative prices on market. It implied that the average number of labor hours required to produce a good or service defined its value and could be used to quantify it objectively. But there are some different perspectives from Adam Smith and Ibn Khaldun about this labor theory of value. According to Ibn Khaldun, labor is the primary input of production and the main source of wealth. Discussing the theory, Khaldun says the workers were human as well. He said that the purpose of production activities is to meet needs, and work is the process of that. Then Khaldun argued that the division of labor is very necessary. All of these are key to the creation of surplus value, which ultimately bring economic prosperity. Khaldun argued that prices on product are created from three combinations of elements: salary, profit, and tax. Khaldun classifies salary as the value of a product and it is equal to the amount of labor. The price of labor is the basis of the price of an item. However, the selling price of goods is determined by legal demand and supply. It can be concluded that the value of workers in Ibn Khaldun's views is something that complements the accumulation of costs incurred by production, and the selling price of goods born from legal and supply law has a reciprocal relationship with the value of workers. In Smith's views, this division is in employment can increase productivity because some skills are directed anywhere, so each person can do something according to his expertise. The division of labor will increase output quantity on a large scale because of three things, which is an increase in dexterity for each particular worker, time saving, and the invention of a machine that facilitates while reducing labor. So with that machine, one person can do the work of several people. In a primitive society, the amount of labor determines the exchange rate on an item, but in a more advanced society, labor no longer has a large impact on determining the value of an item because it is paid by compensation for the machinery used. Although Smith agrees if labor affects the real value of an item, but not with the value of the goods in full, it clearly stated that the value of an item is not determined by the workforce, but that value arises due to the level of satisfaction with the owner coupled with the scarcity of the item.
What is the impact of Adam Smith and Islamic scholars on economic thought? After discussing the fruits of thought from Adam Smith and Islamic scholars on economics, we must now discuss their impact on economic thought as a whole. Of course, these scholars have proposed some relevant theories on economics and human interactions which have a resemblance to modern economic concepts. How much did their ideas influence modern economic study? The history of economic thought is a continual progression of ideas made up of epochal contributions of new lists of knowledge added to the accumulated legacy of the past. A search for solutions to economic problems has been a common concern to all societies. This is the cause of economic thinking. Economic practices existed long before there was any theorizing on the subject. Members of human society thought over economic problems in isolation. In closed societies, or together with other groups, and were influenced by their thinking and ideas. Interaction and convergence of thought provided the necessary basis for continuity of sciences and development of ideas. Thus, economics evolved historically from many minds and temperaments, and economic thought is a cumulative accretion of human knowledge. There has been a long ignorance towards the contribution of Islamic scholars that played an important role in continuity and growth of mainstream economics. There is an increasing awareness now that the root of modern economic analysis extends much further back in time than a good many contemporary students of economics are led to realize. The true impact of the Islamic age towards economic thought began when the retranslation and transmission of Islamic knowledge bled into the Western sciences. This transfer of knowledge from the Islamic world to Christian European society has been written and argued by many writers, thus solidifying the impact of Islamic scholars on economic thought. The scriptures and discussions held during that time included issues like the right to private property, earning a livelihood, work and enterprise, pursuit of private profit and wealth, the obligation of the rich and the rights of the poor, and the state's role in social welfare.
How valid Adam Smith relates divine concept with his jurisprudence theory. Humans frequently see divine law as being superior to secular or natural law. As a Muslim, we believe that divine law has a higher status than ordinary laws, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the lawmaker that rectifies and the only one who never fails to deliver absolute justice through his wisdom. As we wanted to talk about divine concept in jurisprudence, one fact about this concept is that it includes the element of adab, morality. Relating this statement with Adam Smith, where he is known as an academic philosopher who has written multiple books about the significance of empathy and moral principles. Let's look into what has he applied in his theory. First, in Smith's time, where there is a period of economic innovation known as consumer capitalism, and the luxury items were first created by manufacturers for middle-class consumers. This unexpected production startled many individuals, include Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He once advocated a ban on luxury items entering his Geneva neighborhood with the reason that he wanted Genevans to live modest life like Sparta. Then Adam Smith strongly disagreed with this kind of action. According to him, the role of luxury items and selfish consumers is crucial to society because they enable the wealthy to dominate the powerless, plus all types of luxury products are intended for trade because they support high incomes, create jobs and facilitate trade. The second one, it's about what Adam Smith thought on the question, how should we treat the rich? If it is from radical figures, they will respond increase taxes, while some will respond show these rich people the misery of the poor. If they are responding from a religious standpoint, but to Smith, he does not agree on both strategy. In fact, high taxes will only cause them to emigrate to other nations. Instead of taking sides, he suggested some true desires of the wealthy, where in real life wealthy individuals worry more about honor than do about money. These wealthy individuals earn not from their seeming avarice but rather from their emotional need. They do those actions to win people over and to make a point. The government will receive a very helpful lifeline via this technique. In addition to levying large taxes, it is preferable to treat them with respect. When these wealthy people return, they will take action that they were unaware of, like providing money for hospitals and schools, as well as paying workers a living salary. If we understand truly these 2 points, we find that Adam Smith is indirectly following what Islam teaches, in which reflect that it is permissible to enjoy luxury as long as the particular person who enjoy luxury do not have any bad intention when having it, and make sure it do not come from a batil transaction. In this context, we also can be connect with the Allah command in Surah Al-Ma'arij, verse 24 to 25. These verses signifies that believers should recognize right and assign a share the unlucky who has lost his wealth. To be said in short, the divine concept that Adam Smith relates with his theory are mostly valid, but the word depends still exists in certain cases. Thus, we can conclude that Adam Smith and Muslim scholars like Ibn Khaldun, Al-Ghazali and others have come out with their theories in the economic world. They make a significant contribution to every country's ability to deal with the market, labor, taxation and other issues. The primary goal of the theory is to help the country's economy grow, in order to ensure that the economy is running smoothly. Due to that, both conventional and Islamic economy give a good impact toward the economy. Therefore, by implying both theories from Adam Smith and other Muslim scholars, it could help a country's economy run smoothly. Thus, it could help the country to achieve the 3 SDG goals that have been stated, which are no poverty, decent work and economic growth, and also peace, justice and strong institutions. That's why the government should be open-minded and make a wise decision to decide a good decision that could make the country reach the 3 SDG goals. Therefore, they need to answer the 5 WH questions, which are what, how, who, when and why, before they make their decision. Hence, if they fail to make a clear decision,